Unpopular opinion, you need to pack impractically. Welcome to my humble abode. And by humble, I really mean humble because I am living rent-free right now as a pet sitter. So my home is wherever I go, but it's really my suitcase. That is really my crib right now. Being a nomad multiple times, doing long-term, short-term trips around the world, I can consider myself kind of a pro when it comes to minimalist packing. Let me look at my stats for this year. We're mid-June 2023. I've already been to 5 countries. I've already taken 8 flights. Oh my gosh. And I've changed my location 21 times. Is that right? As you can imagine, going on that many plane rides, changing your locations that many times, every time you're repacking your life, you're really assessing like, why did I bring this shit? And I'm so glad I brought this. With all this minimalist packing, I know that's the hot trend right now, but I'm not a robot. I just don't need to pack for functionality. That will actually make me really miserable, especially as a nomad. So I'm gonna be honest and kind of review some of my biggest surprise wins and fails and all this stuff in between, because sometimes stuff that kind of is a fail sometimes ends up being a win. You'll see, you'll see. So one thing I bring with me to always have a sense of home are pictures. It's just so important to bring a sense of home with you. This right here is a luggage scale. When you're constantly packing and repacking, it's not a perfect science. And oh my gosh, every time I'm like, how did I do this last time? The airport is such a stressful experience for me. Going in with some level of confidence of what my bag weighs gives me a lot of ease. This is a little, what do they call it? An air tag. This is near something, it will like bounce off all of the iPhones around us. And you know, there are a lot of Apple products just dispersed in the world. So it creates a network where it can track where this little thing is. When I get on my flight, I can look into my little Find My Friends app, see where my little bag is, and I know it's on the plane with me, which gives me such reassurance because I'm always like, yo, what if they lose my shit? Which would really suck because it's all my stuff. This is my little money binder. I love public transportation, so I have public transits from various cities. And I also have money. So these are Mexican pesos, and of course US, in Colombia, and euros. Indonesian rupiah, dong, I believe it's called, from Vietnam. Ooh, and I have some gift cards back here. I didn't realize we're here. Having my money and my cards organized in so many ways, I feel like this could just be an evergreen travel organizational resource for me. Oh my gosh. Let me get that real quick. Girl, why do you got 10 books with you? That's the double-edged sword of being such a good minimalist packer is you get really, I get overconfident and I'm like, oh, I'm minimalist. I can bring whatever I want. I think this is actually my biggest packing fail. I used to have a huge dry erase board in my apartment and I love this like getting ideas out that way. And speaking of dry erase board, what do I have written on this? Art supplies. Everything is flat. Like yes, some of it's large, but it's flat. So it's kind of just the first thing I lay in my suitcase. And it's pretty lightweight, so I would... That was so awkward. Clearly, I brought my winter coat. And yes, I was planning to go to Latin America, but my first stop was Canada. Because it's such a bulky and wearable item, the obvious, most typical hack is to wear it at the airport, which of course looks kind of crazy when you're flying from Costa Rica to Colombia or Colombia to Mexico. But you do what you gotta do with these weight limits. The biggest, hey baby girl. This hasn't been the most practical outfit, but there's a surprise. I think there's an advantage to wearing old stuff that may have secret holes. So as you can see here, there's a hole in the lining. So I'd be above the weight limit a lot of the time. So what I would do is I would strategically stuff certain things into this lining. I try to do more soft things since I was wearing this at the airport. Some of these books, get out, perfectly fits in the pocket of this. Abracadabra. It's in, that was like on my butt. The book is now over here. It's on the complete other side of the jacket. And you can't like visually see it, or maybe you can, but TSA is so busy doing their own thing. They never caught me. It's a whole hot mess, but I did what I needed to do. You've seen my crib. It's pretty vibey, as you can see. And it's your crib when you're living as a traveler is whatever you make it, whatever feels like home to you. You also want to think about the mood and the energy level you may be when traveling. As you can imagine, with all of the traveling I've done, a lot of the time my mood is exhausted, wanting to be low-key. Speaking of exhausted, I am pretty tired. I had an early morning with clients, so I'm gonna take a nap. And I think the pup is gonna join me. So, peace.